Okay, let's talk about the silent partner in this whole pregnancy operation. The unsung hero, the snack fetcher, the back rubber, the source of the most baffling, questionable, and downright hilarious comments you will ever hear in your entire life. Yes, today we are diving deep into the things my husband said during my pregnancy. These are the verbal gems that almost got him a one-way ticket to the couch, or possibly a small studio apartment across town. This is for every woman who has ever looked at the man she loves and thought, did you really just say that out loud? And for every partner who is trying their best, but sometimes just misses the mark. Our journey begins in the first trimester. I was in the throes of morning sickness, looking and feeling like a pale green ghost who had been haunting a saltine cracker factory. I'm lying on the couch, wrapped in a blanket I hadn't washed in 3 days, and he walks in. He looks at me, tilts his head with genuine curiosity, and says, you don't have that pregnancy glow they talk about. You look more damp. That was the word he chose. Not tired or poor thing. He went with damp. I didn't have the energy to be angry, so I just made a mental note to use that word to describe his dinner later. But his medical insights were truly where he shined. One evening, as I was making my 5th trip to the bathroom to be sick, he followed me, looking concerned. He put his hand on my shoulder and said, with the gravity of a seasoned physician, I was reading online. Maybe if you just decide not to be nauseous, your brain will tell your stomach to stop. Oh my goodness. The cure. It was so simple. Mind over matter. Why hadn't the millions of pregnant women throughout history ever thought of that? Just decide to stop. I think I just stared at him, mouth agape, until he slowly backed out of the room, realizing he may have strayed into dangerous territory. Then came the 2nd trimester, and with it, the cravings. My cravings weren't cute. They were chaotic. One night, I desperately needed pickles dipped in cream cheese. He went to the store, bless his heart, and returned with the goods. As I'm sitting there, blissfully enjoying my bizarre snack, he watches me for a moment and asks, is that good for the baby's palate development? You don't want him to come out only wanting to eat weird stuff, do you? This man, who I have personally witnessed eat cold, leftover pizza for breakfast, was suddenly a gourmet critic, concerned with the culinary future of our unborn child. The sheer audacity was so stunning, I couldn't even form a response. I just offered him a pickle. He declined. Of course, we must discuss his commentary on my changing body. As the baby bump grew, so did his fascination. One day, he poked my belly button, which had started to pop out, and giggled. It's like the turkey's done, he announced to the empty living room. I was no longer a woman. I was a Thanksgiving dinner. Another time, as I was struggling to heave myself off the couch, he watched with the intensity of someone watching a nature documentary. It's amazing, he whispered, how you have to rock back and forth now to build up momentum. Like a hippo trying to get out of the mud. A hippo. He compared his beautiful, pregnant wife to a mud hippo. In his mind, I'm sure it was a compliment about my resourcefulness. In my mind, I was already looking up divorce lawyers. But the number one, the absolute pinnacle of his commentary, the quote that will be engraved on a plaque in our home, came late in the 3rd trimester. I was 38 weeks pregnant. I felt like a planet. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't walk without waddling, and I had to be rolled out of bed. I was complaining about how huge and uncomfortable I felt, and I asked him, do I even look like myself anymore? He put his hands on my shoulders, looked me deep in the eyes with all the sincerity in his soul, and said, honey, you don't look like yourself. You look like yourself, but if you were trying to smuggle a whole watermelon out of a grocery store under your shirt. A watermelon smuggler. That was his term of endearment. Now, in his defense, for every one of these ridiculous comments, there were 100 moments of him being the most incredible, supportive, and loving partner. He rubbed my feet, he built the crib. He never once complained about my hormonal crying fits during car insurance commercials. But sometimes when you're pregnant and hormonal, you just have to laugh at the absurdity of it all. This journey is wild, and your partner's commentary is just part of the ride. So now I need to hear from you. What is the absolute funniest, most ridiculous, or most baffling thing your partner has said during pregnancy? I want to read them all. Let's fill the comments with stories so we can all feel a little less alone in this beautiful, bizarre chaos. And if you enjoyed this little therapy session, please hit that subscribe button. We have a lot more to unpack. Trust me.